How we doing this afternoon, friends? It's still raining here. Good God. It's about normal for January. I don't think it's ever going to stop raining. But anyways, so the last couple of videos I made, there's actually 3 comments that I want to touch on. The first one being the most important one, and I've said it all along, but as I'm making these videos, I absolutely am not saying that the way I do it or the way I explain to do it is the best way to do it. I'm just explaining it to the majority of you people that have never tower logged before. So I'm giving it to you in a reference of what I do, and I absolutely by no means am saying that it is the best way or the only way to do it. There's several different ways. Some of them I don't particularly like to do, some of them I do like to do, so it's kind of back and forth. I am not saying that I am the best that there ever is or was or whatever. I'm just trying to have a little fun, make some friends, make some videos, you know. Second of all, I got asked about the different positions on the crew, you know, and what each title, you know, means and what they do. And because of that tail pulling the other day, somebody was like, well, that would be so-and-so's responsibility. So I'll try to explain it the easiest way I can. And we'll start at the very bottom of the food chain, and that would be your choker setter. Choker setter has absolutely no authority or clout over anybody. And then it goes to your rigging slinger. And normally most guys, they either run a rigging slinger and 2 choker setters, or they run 2 rigging slingers. So, choker setter, the rigging slinger is over the choker setter. The rigging slinger can tell the choker setter, and that is his job, do this, do this, and do this. The hook tender is over the rigging slinger, and the hook tender says do this, and tells him to set the pace and everything. Now you've got a yarder engineer and a chaser in there. The chaser nowadays really is about the equivalent of a choker setter. They don't have any authority, no clout, nothing like that. Back in the day when we were hand chasing and stuff like that, the chaser was actually more like a rigging slinger. They were the rigging slinger on the landing, the rigging slinger is in the brush. Then your processor operator and your shovel operator. A lot of places nowadays have the hook tender is the boss over the rigging, the guy lines and all that. But a lot of places nowadays will either have a shovel operator that's somewhat of a side boss, I guess, or they will have, if they have enough yarders or sides, whatever you want to say, then they'll run a woods boss. And a lot of the reason they have the shovel operator do it over a yarder engineer.
Yeah, can you move that one big bastard right where my head just touched? You can move them big buckets over, and I'll make you a nice little Seneca door right there. And them 26 and them bigger 12 and 14 inches, 26 inches, put them in you gotta run away with you. Help me out here for a second.
Anyway, so that, you know, the shovel operator and the equipment operators, woods boss, and then owner. So maybe that'll help. As for whose responsibility it was that tail hold that pulled, that would be the hook tender's responsibility.
I have built up still, so don't run down the hill on a good.
You know, that's making sure that the guy line stubs and the tail holds and all that stuff like that is the responsibility of the hook tender. Making sure that you're getting your load count and production is the responsibility of the rigging slinger after the hook tender sets them up on their road lines for success. So if your hook tender doesn't give you enough lift, or he goes too wide or too narrow, then the production can fall off because either A, it's too narrow and there's no wood, no logs on the road line, or it's too wide and you're pulling your guts out. So I hope that helps out a little bit. I know it's still kind of vague about it. You know, I mean, there are still some companies that go the old school way, but not very many. I mean, it's just not. And then another comment, and it wasn't a bad comment at all, was about us getting ready to high lead this or rider block this piece. And it was actually Speed Marine made the comment, and he was like, God, I don't think I've ever seen anybody get excited about high leading. Back in the day, when we ran big chokers and there was absolutely no lift, you would not see me smile about putting the butt rigging on, because that was hard. That was extremely hard work. But this piece we're going to do, it's a downhill piece. That's why we're putting the rider block on, so we can use the haul back to help get a little lift. Or not a little, it'll be quite a bit of lift. But we're also going to be using the haul back to slow the logs down, because it's pretty nice timber, and it is steep enough that when it starts down off of there, it's going to come right at us. So, if you haven't, like I say, it will be, it's actually called Garabinski logging, Pollock logging, because whoever invented it, his last name was Garabinski, and he was a Pollock. Anyways, but if you want to take a look at it, you know, I mean, hell, you can Google it, but there is another guy that follows my channel that comments every once in a while. His name is Sam, and his channel is SNW02, and he's over in New Zealand, and they do a lot of rider blocking, and he's actually got some really cool videos up. So if you want to see what rider blocking is right away, jump over to Sam's channel, and you get a pretty good look at it. I got to get this shoe cleaned out. So as I was saying the other day, there's quite a few more sorts on this.
The truck is beyond your lookout. And clear.
You know, over there for Rose, I only had three or four. And there's nine swords here. And that's including my chipwood. But the way it's set up, anyways, the way it's set up is the swords kind of overlap each other. So if I don't have quite enough to go to this mill, I can grab out of the middle to finish them off, or if I'm loading out of the middle, I can grab from this pile or this pile, and my big logs, when I'm loading it, if I don't have quite enough, I can reach back out of this pile. even though there's, you know, and getting a steady amount of logs like we are, I won't have to do that. But road change or you know, Friday afternoon trying to get the trucks out of here before the mills close, because they do close early. That is kind of nice because they overlap by, each one of them overlaps by, I think, almost 2 inches. So I've got quite a bit of playing room there. The only one that I don't really have much is the that export. You know, they're pretty serious, and even though like I said, I can't take out of this one to add to that one, but the export quality, so I can't take out of these 2 decks to put into my export. See what I'm saying? Because these 2, there's a reason that they're there. They're either too rough, too big, you know. So that'd be the only thing that I couldn't do. But if I need to take out of the export pile to make a load, I can. We try not to do that because of the, you know, the price of the export logs is so much more that you know, I mean, you don't want to be sending an export quality log to a mill that you're getting, you know, a third of the price of it, because it's just a saw log. So have to take that into consideration. But other than that, I'm pretty happy. I'd really like to get some health insurance and all that. But I think that the way things are set right now, probably gonna hang out at least through the summer and see how things go. And Stacy's he's a working guy's boss. You know, he's got big aspirations, and you know, if he could have a big old fancy benefit package, he definitely will, because he's had to work his whole life, you know, just like the rest of us. And I'm not saying that most owners haven't, but he is a working man's owner. He thinks about his guys, you know, and I've seen him give guys bonuses, and it was only, you know, $20, $50, $100, but that's all he had. That's that, you know, he could not afford to give any more, but he was showing the guys that, hey, I appreciate you, I wish I had more, I don't, but, you know, and he will, a lot of times, in the evenings on the way home, stop and buy you guys, you know, soda pop or adult beverages, so on and so forth. So he does try, which is, you know, I mean, like I say, it's not always the amount that they give you, it's the thought that they're giving it to you. Now that
I thought that would make an export, but it's got a little color, and I don't think she'll make her either way.
yeah, this end split a little bit, and after it rolled over, it's got quite a few knots on this side. We probably better not.
That's obvious.
Anyway, so just talking about whether that one would make an export or not. I don't think it. The end split a little bit. You can't have any split, any cutter pull or stump pull. You know, the knots, you can only have so many knots per feet. The size of the knot makes a difference. If the wood is stained, can't have no stain in it. Oh yeah, them knots are way too big, too many. Not that they're too big, just there's too many. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. There's better than 10 in a 8-foot block, and that's only on 1/3 of it. So hopefully we'll get some pretty decent weather here, and I can get out and explain the export a little more. I did get asked to do that. I want to get the camera on the Sky Car soon. but I don't want to put it on there in the rain and not get very good footage. And like I say, they got this road, then one more. That last road, it's probably going to last, I bet they're on it 3 full days. So it'll be, today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I bet it's Tuesday of next week before we start that rider block.
Chase Mountain Turn's getting this cab pretty fucking dirty. I had to fucking clean.
Oh, shut up. Anyways, you guys will like that rider block, and that's going to be pretty sweet. Not real sure.
I fucking scraped her out.
Not real sure if old Mike is quite ready to start doing any downhilling, so I'm sure I'll probably spend quite a bit of time in the yarder. Alright, we'll get back to you guys. Stay safe, get logs, come on.